What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Dutchy and Swoop show. We are going to be talking about the Gold Coast, sorry, not the Gold Coast game, the Fremantle game.
Yes.
That's 2 losses in a row now,
Yes.
leading into it's a bloody do or die against Richmond of all teams now. Mate, how you going?
Well, I wouldn't say do or die, but geez, you'd like
But
to
if we
think
lose
that-
3 in a row, we're
geez,
on death
you know
row.
what, they'll be frothing Richmond thinking,
Yeah.
you know what, we could do the impossible here too. I mean, it wouldn't be impossible, you'd think, but 2 losses in a row, and 2, geez, if all things go well and we can just keep, win the next couple, you might, these 2 losses might go down as 2 losses that maybe needed to happen. I
Yeah.
don't know, but time will tell, I suppose. Yeah.
So, we did this in 2023,
Yeah.
where we lost against Carlton, we lose against Hawthorn, then we win our next few.
Yep.
I really thought...
Someone said to me online too that in 1990 something happened similar. I didn't go back to the archives and have a look.
I haven't checked that. Yeah.
But maybe they lost 2 in a row around the same time and then didn't lose for the rest of the year.
I'll take
after
any
that.
omen at the moment.
We'll go back and check that out.
We'll go back to it. And if it is, I'll pop it right here if it is. But what did you see? You went to the Fremantle
I went to the game
with your daughter. How'd
Yes.
you find that?
I thought it was a really good game, to be honest. They really did a great job at restricting our ball movement and obviously getting extra numbers back and supporting each other aerially in their D50. We just didn't quite have that connection. It was the first time we've smashed the opposition in a while in inside 50s.
Yeah.
Had a decent looker. I think we won clearances too, didn't we?
Yeah,
for the
we
first
were
time in a while as well.
on paper. We were incredible.
Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a strange one. It was like, we got some stats in our favour for the first time.
Yeah.
Couple against us, but a couple of ones that we've been trying to improve, which would have been clearance and inside 50s and trying to get some more looks. But yet we lose the game.
Yeah.
I did feel like we were holding them and we would run over the top. It felt like we were in control of the game for most of the day, but Fremantle were good enough to just restrict. And then when the game was out to be won, with a little bit of help from a couple of umpiring decisions, they got over. But you can't whinge about that. We just need to be further in front.
Well, that's it. Like, the fourth quarter starts, we kick the first 2 goals. Really nice one from Will Hoskinelli. Ed Allen comes on, kicks one. You go, okay, we're 4 goals up.
Yeah.
All we need is
like
1 or 2
Did
to
it
break.
feel like to you the crowd were up?
Yeah.
The players went to another level for that first 10 minutes.
They
and
really did.
we
And then
thought,
they just-
shit, we're going to roll with this.
Yeah.
Fremantle will not be able to sustain their efforts.
And then
from
they
here
just
on in.
dropped. They just dropped. I don't know if it was complacency. I don't know what it was, but Fremantle, it was a little bit. There were some players that did make a couple of errors that led to goals, but Patrick Voss kicking 6 goals.
Yeah.
One, when is that ever going to happen again? It just happened to be just one of those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. And I think there's something to be said now we were talking about this last week, is settling your best team, because you come up against Gold Coast, a good side, impossible to beat at home. Fremantle won 7 out of 8 and look like they're the real deal. But each time we've managed players, a couple of players each time, and then put players on, the sub that maybe not normally would be the sub. I don't know about Will Hoskinelli, they'd want him as a sub usually. Pendlebury the week before. So are we going in with already 3 or 4 or 5 injuries, 2 important players, plus 1 or 2 management type players? So you're going in with a side that's about 80% against a team that has to beat you to stay in touch or make the 4, and they're quality teams. So they're at 100%. We're at 82.5 or whatever you want to call it.
Then you're just down.
And then you lose by less than a goal, and it's hard to know when you need to stop this whole management thing and working it out and just go in all in, because sometimes you play with fire, you get burnt.
Well, that's it. And we said it ironically for the Fremantle game earlier on this season, where we said if resting 4 players and we win, it comes off, it looks really good. If we lose, it looks really bad. And now, I know, like you said, we just have a couple of injuries, but you look at those last 2 games and we've lost by a total of 7 points. You look at include the Geelong game that we lost, that's 10 points in total over those 3 games. So it's only a kick off, but when you're having 20 inside 50s in the third quarter for 1 goal, 2, and you keep just kicking to their defenders, how did you sort of see that third quarter?
Oh, I felt like they defended real well. I think one thing they tried to do is take away that first kick of ours. Obviously, we built our game with quick disposal by foot kick mark and then look for that overlap handball where we just go quick. They didn't allow us to do that. They were really good at taking away that first kick, or at least only giving us 1 and not the second. They rolled up really quickly their forwards to block up space, and their pressure was outstanding.
Yeah.
So remember they've got some really good aerial players, like the two-prong ruck with Jackson and
Yeah, they were
Duffy,
fantastic.
then they've got Luke Ryan, who's as good as any third tall back. Playing on, obviously Jane did a good job on Jamie Elliott as well. Their sort of strengths up against our strengths, defence and forward, to a certain degree, and with the two big ruckmen against obviously Cox and Cameron as well. So they were able to nullify us in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I just saw it as a game where Fremantle thought this is going to be the test for us. Can we get it done on the MCG? Can we get it done against the number one team in the comp? If we're able to pull off a miracle, coached by a very good coach, I think, in Longmuir as well, that means they're the real deal. We spoke about this last week, and I think they are the real deal. I think they're a genuine top four team. I think they're a better side than Gold Coast at the moment. I think they've proven they can come here and beat us, and they've won away in other games as well, and they beat Gold Coast up there as well, which is a huge win.
Yep.
So they're a good side. So they could be right in the mix.
Yep.
I think right up there with us and those top other couple of teams as well, Brisbane and so forth. So they've done a great job. They're a good side. There's no question.
And credit to them. To come here and beat us, incredible. We've got at least six, or we had at least six of our best 23 players out.
Yeah.
We have those guys in. We're beating Gold Coast. We're beating Fremantle. We're not here talking about, we need to sort of beat Richmond to stay in that top two. We've locked up the top two position. I think on our day without any injuries, and we know that injuries are hard to prevent.
Yeah.
But this week against Richmond, we lose Bo McCreary, unfortunately, to a hamstring. We look like we're getting back Dan Houston a week earlier. Looks like we're getting back Billy Frampton.
Yep.
DeGoey and Bobby Hill might play in the VFL. So these troops are starting to come back. Next week we get Jeremy Howe.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, when do you need to settle on a squad?
Yeah.
It must be that Brisbane game where we go, okay, we've seen Geordie play in the VFL for a half. We've seen Bobby play for a half. Let's have Geordie as a super sub. Bobby comes straight into the team, and then we're sailing, because it does, after Richmond, it does not get easy.
Yeah, I think you say all these things and they're great, and I think Bobby's obviously a guarantee. I don't think Jordan DeGoey is a guarantee for me.
You don't reckon?
No, I reckon he needs to go back, prove that he can get through at least 2 or 3 games in the VFL.
Right. So you're not even convinced if it's just 50%.
No.
You want him to play
He's been
100%.
out too long.
Yep.
He's missed too much footy over the last couple of years, and he's been in and out. And he's a power athlete, not an endurance athlete.
Yeah,
He needs games. Bobby's different because he's lightning quick and he's light, and you could probably play him off as a sub first game back, and then he should be right from then on, I reckon. Plus, he doesn't play he tackles hard, but he's not inside the congestion hitting bodies and banging his body up as much. Whereas DeGoey would be, he's got to be able to go mid forward, and if you get an injury in game, you've got to be able to play 4 quarters, and you're coming up against some seriously elite running athletes at this level. So I would think that they just got to make everyone's life hard in coming in, and they'll probably, if all things going well, they bring them in. But you just got to keep back. I reckon from now on, just whatever's available, your best available, get them in. Let's play our best side, and then your next tier, they're playing VFL.
Yeah.
If they're not fit enough, they're playing VFL, and then let's just work on settling the team and only move it if it needs to be moved. If we're winning games of footy and we're winning well, leave it as is and keep it as settled as possible. You need everyone connecting. And there's no reason why you get to a grand final you can't bring to go in a prelim or a grand final if it looks like that's the thing. I mean, he'd be an amazing sub, wouldn't he, coming in even at worst case scenario? But
definitely.
He's obviously in our best team. But I just wanted to settle as possible from here on in, because I think we've gone 5-4-5 in terms of changes, or 4-5-4.
It's been crazy these last few weeks.
If you do that, history says to me, as a coach at local level, if you're making 14 changes in 3 weeks, on the 4th week you're crumbling. But this means that they've obviously still got so much depth and talent across the board that we're still able to be competitive against top teams. Probably should win. And obviously we'll see how we go against Richmond on the weekend, but I think we should be right if we play accordingly.
Well, that's the thing. What do you look? We expect to win against the Tigers, but what do you want to see that you haven't seen over these last 2 weeks?
Oh, geez, good question.
Besides a win.
Good question. I think we just got to get back to connecting from, our midfielders to our forwards better, because we're probably the best, ratio from going inside 50 to mark to goal in the league, being able to really connect from that point of view. It looked like we were a little bit disconnected on the weekend. They defended a bit more harder one-on-one than other teams do, or other teams sort of zone off a little bit, give you a little bit more space, and we tend to like that because we're quick and we're talented and potent up there. I think other teams will learn a bit from that, so that is going to be a real challenge for us. I mean, I would like us to hunt the opposition a little bit more. I think we're being hunted.
Mm-hmm.
You can see they'll put a lot of time into Darcy Moore and stopping him go to the aerial ball drop space.
They did,
Did you see Voss had the work that he was putting in, and then Maynard had to come in and push and shove,
try and push and shove.
And to a certain degree, you can get, if you got Maynard there, he can protect him. But, you still get tired playing that type of brand, and you're worried about what he's doing all the time. And a new bloke kept rolling on to Moore, did you see, all the time? And when it might be only 90 seconds or more, but when it's your turn to roll into Moore, you just bang his body, bang him, and don't let him go to the ball drop space. And he looked tired late in the game. He looked you see that clumsy act late in the game. He was lucky not to get reported. But I'd like to see maybe try a different dynamic leading in terms of, positions or the way we move the footy, or just something a little bit different, so that we can, so the opposition can't pick us off leading into finals, because I reckon they're starting to work out how we play.
So. Yeah, I think so. And I think Fly might watch this because he chucked Nick Dacos into the back line, like you suggested.
I think he's getting my coaching tips off me. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Mate, I love it. I love it because he's a crazy overlap runner. You can't stop him when he goes from coast to coast, from back pocket to forward pocket. The thing is, when your middle ground are in congestion, you can bang him up, and he's still good enough to get away. But at half back, when you've got freedom, you've got the game in front of you, it's really easy to run off and create. Plus, he's got more energy to burn when he goes into the middle rather than being in there all day. So, late in the game, he was super. All game, he was super, and he got a lot more footy from doing it. So, I'd like to see him leave this and keep alternating from half back with his brother to middle.
100%. And now with no Bo, like Bo came in and he was we talked about that injection of speed into the middle. That's exactly what Bo gave us. 15 tackles equaled the club record. Yeah. We had 35 tackles inside 50, which is an equal AFL record. Now we haven't got Bo for 3 weeks. Josh Dacos in the middle has to be a must now, with Dan Houston coming back for that speed.
Yeah. That's right, it is, and some good players coming up back, and we're gonna miss Bo again.
It's crazy.
Every time he's out, it just feels like it takes the edge off us a little bit. That type of player they don't grow on their trees at AFL level. Be able to get 15 tackles as I don't play mid a bit as well, but as a high half forward, incredible, really. He was going to be so important moving forward, find a way to get him back in with his speed. We just, still lacking that. Schultz did a pretty decent job, but he just needs that little bit of X factor around him, I think, at this point in time. But, it'd be interesting time for Collingwood, because, we've done so well management of the injuries and things like that, but I think you'd need that genuine pressure coming from underneath him. I ran into Tom Mitchell, actually, when I was going to my seat. And I said, out number 6. And he turned around and had a bit of a chat and introduced him to my daughter, Stevie, as well. So I said, what happened, mate? Are you not playing? He goes, just being managed. He didn't give too much away, but I could tell he wasn't overly happy with being managed. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with him.
Wonder if he comes back this week.
Yeah. He said, I should be back now. I should be right next week. So,
well, that's good.
Obviously, that's what they've told him. You're going to miss this week. We're just, 2 games back. You've had a big load, probably for the last 6-7 weeks coming back from injury.
That's also true, because it wasn't just 2 AFL games he played. He played 7 VFL games all in a row.
That's right. Yeah, and sometimes the AFL game just tip you over because you've been playing at this level, and then you have to go up a cog.
Yeah.
So hopefully he comes back better for it next week. Maybe they might. Maybe a Ned Long, they might rest him next week to bring him in to share the load. I think one thing I'd love McRae to do, not saying that he's necessarily thinking this way, but forget about who you like and whose feelings you're going to hurt. And, the management stuff's out the window now. You're playing your best team. Sorry, mate. Ned Long slightly ahead of you, Mitchell, or vice versa.
Ruthless.
I see you 5% ahead of you right now. You're stiff. You're out.
Yep.
Just that's it. And then that makes you get to work and work harder and go back to VFL and make sure you get it done with some serious ferocity and ruthlessness. So that's the way I see it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Let's throw that out the window and let's put our best team on the park.
And I think that's 100% what needs to happen because, we play on the Sunday against the Tigers and by the Sunday, Brisbane have Gold Coast. Brisbane should win. Adelaide have Port Adelaide. Adelaide should win. We'll be third. We were 10 points ahead on top of the ladder.
They're going to be winning those
You don't
games?
reckon Adelaide beat Port Adelaide in Ken's
those games?
Ken's
are
last
funny
showdown?
games. They're funny games. Those
You reckon?
those derbies. Yes, they're funny games.
And I
Anyone
guess it's a
can
Q
win on
clash
their
as well.
day. I'd like if you're betting. We don't have a betting sponsor yet.
No.
I'm going to have one of these every week. So just if you want to be our betting sponsor. If I was a betting man and Port Adelaide are $4.50 and Adelaide are $1.50, I'm not backing Adelaide at $1.50.
You're going to back Port.
I would back Port just to get value for odds.
Is that because of it's Hinkley's last showdown ever as well? Do you reckon will get up for that?
If you trace back the history of those games, I would say there's no pattern of the team being on top of the other team and winning. I reckon just anything can happen. Same with the Western Australian Derby as well.
Yeah.
Plus, it's the Derby, the Queensland Derby as well.
Yeah,
That's always had a little bit of energy.
That's true. It has. Yeah.
Is that at Gold Coast or in the Gabba?
I think it's at the Gabba.
The Gabba. Yeah. So that'll be an interesting game. And they had a stinker last week. And remember,
you were
predicted
100% right. I cannot believe it. And for them to not kick a goal in the first half, I was like,
well, here's my prediction: Port Adelaide by 3 points. There you go.
Done. I would love that. I would love that. We are going to clip the hell out of that.
Yeah,
but
we'll
it's going to be a big week because we've got Richmond, then Brisbane at home, and then Hawthorn.
Yes.
Go up to Adelaide, back down to Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's a big 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's big 5 weeks, and there's some. You'd probably say there's 1 or 2 losable games there, even if you're going well.
Yeah.
You know, too. So that's the worrying thing, and trying to make sure we get finished on top or second, worst case scenario.
Yep.
Just you'd hate to finish third and have to play Brisbane or
go to Adelaide Oval.
Or go to Adelaide, yeah.
Jesus, that's my worst. I'd rather play at People's First Stadium in the first week than go to Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, I think the good thing about the Adelaide one is there's still got some youngsters in that group that
haven't played finals.
Haven't played finals, whereas Brisbane at the Gabba, I mean that's going to be tough no matter how you look at it.
As a ex-footballer and playing in big finals, how much does that come into play? Like no finals experience.
Oh, I think most of the time it's important, but every now and then a young group will just come through, like the Baby Bombers years from '93. You saw with that Western Bulldogs team that came through.
2016.
The Collingwood team were pretty young, 2010, and I know, but they had some experience come in. That was the difference with them, but. That Bulldogs team that came through was 2016 or 17 or whatever it was, and just came from nowhere. They were pretty young and, just excited and just playing on adrenaline. So that can happen, but I'd say 8 times out of 10, it's just really important to have that experience.
Yeah, it's it all starts on Sunday. We need a good, I'd love to absolutely put foot on throat.
Yeah,
60, 70-point win against the Tigers, but we know as well as anyone that they will play their grand final against us, and they're going to come out.
Yeah, they will. I think it's just got so many kids playing.
But that's the other side of the dice.
They have to pull off an absolute miracle, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I think it'll be a 10-goal win, and we're coming off 2 losses. Like, we should be seriously frothing to, because if we had won the last 2 games, we're probably coming in 90% mindset to this game, whereas we're going 110 speed. We're going high intensity. Mindset's going to be on. We've got no reason to be taking anyone lightly right at this point in time.
And that's it. 4 weeks ago, you kind of earmark Richmond and go, okay, we'll rest 4 or 5 players here because we'll be still 2.5 games, maybe 3 games on top. Now you go, we need the best 23 out there.
That's right.
We can't afford Pendles as a sub or Sidebottom to get rested or Myercheck. And it's Membry, Houston. Frampton, could be Mitchell as well. That's 4, pretty much premiership players.
Yeah, 100%. There's some good players that come in. But like I said, let's stick to the plan. No more management, please. I just want the best players in there, and I'll go. Although I get a funny feeling they're just going to manage it right to the end. You know, I don't know why, but I just feel like they're going to do it right through to the final start.
I bloody hope not. But look, this is just a nice, short, sharp episode from us. There's a special episode coming out on Saturday with Australian #1 boxer Michael Zarafa, which was an absolutely incredible
Gotta
chat.
see it. It's a cracker.
We'll see you guys there. Go Pies.
Go Pies.